Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the second episode of the Zero to Hero challenge where Woovi decides to go tanking and we're playing Protection Paladin from scratch all the way up to 2500 rider IO rating. We finished episode 1 on pretty good terms. We managed to time few sevens, got to 1200 rider IO rating, got to 606 item level, and I did play a little bit off stream just to get the ring to 649 from the Siren Island. And I did a few delves just so I have extra slots in the vault after the week ends. Of course, we didn't play any keys off stream, so now we are back online and we're playing with the giveaway, which is still available, by the way. Until I finish this challenge, you can hop on my stream and redeem some tickets for the giveaway and enter a draw for 60 days of full gameplay time. Just join the stream and type !giveaway for more information. And now we are back into M+. We did manage to 3-chest our 7 in the last key of the first episode. So now we ended up with our own +10 key, which was Dawnbreaker. I was a bit scared tanking a +10 on a 606 item level, but the first few pulls went fine with me paying a lot of attention until we get to the second phase of the first boss. We got to a point where I didn't have defenses for the tank boosters apart from Bubble, but I decided to greed it, and although I was full health, I actually got one-shotted. That's what you get for being greedy. I did get the battle res, but then as soon as I rest, I taunted, but I taunted the freaking affix. I did panic at this point, and I pressed my Bubble in order to taunt the boss as well after the mistake that I've made. Which did work, but then here comes the next time buster, and I still didn't have any defensives, and I decided to heal myself, but I stayed in the beam and I died again. Luckily, at this point, the boss was, well, actually not low, it was 12%, but the group managed to actually finish and kill it, so the key was not yet bricked, although I played like a completely Goomba on this boss. We ended up killing it with 6 deaths total at this point, and we lost another person on the frontal during the first mini-boss in the church. We then go to the second mini-boss. I managed to pull it, rack them up together, pop cooldowns, but as soon as the evoker lands, he actually bred fire to the side and managed to pull some extra mobs. Complete disaster, complete chaos. 2 of the mobs are just channeling it back. We have the dots, we have the AoE going on. And I was sure we're gonna die and wipe, but we somehow managed to stabilize. I didn't die, which was surprising to myself, but I didn't panic, so I managed to do my cooldowns a little bit better than I did on the first boss. We did have one person die, which I think was also to a frontal. Not without the help of the dot, but we did manage to pull this through, and now we had enough percentage. We managed to kill the second mini-boss, and the dungeon was actually open for completion as we had the other mini-boss left and of course the last 2 bosses. We did lose 2 more people on the next mini-boss, but that went relatively fine until we engaged the second boss. The red paladin got the orb, he baited it to the tree across the street and basically wiped us all at this point. Completely baffled as he was supposed to be higher IO than the rest of the team, but I guess he was just bad because after we engaged the boss for a second time, we were lucky enough for him not to get the orb almost until the end when the boss actually targeted him. He did exactly the same thing, this time though we were lucky as the orb didn't hit the tree, so we somehow managed to finish the boss. Too little too late though, we did have to battle res one person on the last boss and we ended up finishing the key with just a minute over, which means that if that paladin actually knew how to kite the orb, we could have probably timed our first +10. But it is what it is, I didn't play good in that key either, so probably we didn't deserve to time it anyway. We did get 300 points though, so we are now above 1500 IO. And we have a +9 Siege of Borealis in our bags. So on we go, we did craft bracers, we did few upgrades, so now our item level is 609, and considering we're doing a +9, we got our confidence up. And I think I played pretty good in this dungeon up until the second boss, but my teammates, which looked pretty good on paper, didn't do so. We racked up 6 deaths up until this point due to stupid mechanics like frontals and people not kiting the first boss, etc. And then we kinda ninja pulled the second boss after a charge hit 2 people from the commander, including the healer who ended up dying. We didn't have any battle resist left, but I did figure out that I can reset the boss, and I managed to do so after we racked up a few more deaths. And I think that was another good play from me on this dungeon, not so much from the rest of the team. We did manage to kill the boss on the second attempt, of course not without the mage dying on the swirlies on the ground. And that slowed us up a little bit more because we had to foreman the last phase of the boss. But all in all, we managed to do that, and it was relatively smooth from there up until the third boss, where the warlock died on one of the walls which were moving across the room. So we get to the last boss with 10 deaths and enough time to basically kill it. We go to the second platform after the transition after the first. I rushed there first because I don't think as a tank I can do the cannon. The tentacle is just going to kill everyone while I'm running back. And everyone just decides to follow me and nobody cares about the cannon or the spelling. So everyone just started running around aimlessly. The debuffs kept going. People just kept dying. I think we did fire the cannon at some point, but we lost another person to that. And I think the healer was running back and forth, and then the debuffs killed the other DPS, so we just had to reset at some point because it was only me and the healer left with 2 platforms, which was basically going to take forever. And we did play pretty well on the second attempt. We did manage to kill the boss, but unfortunately the key was gone at this point. A bit unfortunate because, as I said, I think I played pretty good in this key, but my teammates just didn't have the DPS and didn't have the skills to avoid some of the mechanics in order for us to time it. We did get a pair of boots there at the end though, which was pretty good. An upgrade, and then our key turned into a green bateau, which we've done already, but it is what it is. 8 green bateau next. And that key started as bad as you can imagine. The healer says, my keyboard is not working. So he just stayed there at the back, I guess trying to fix it, while we decided to just try and do some pulls without heals. We did rack up 3 deaths, and at some point he managed to come back. And from there on, it actually went surprisingly well. I did play good. I didn't manage to die as I did in the previous Green Bateau run a few times. We had a couple of deaths on frontals, and then we had one more death on the double flame render and pull before the third boss, which I still had to do because I don't know how to cheese the boss in the corner. So we get to the third boss. It's looking pretty good until one of the melees just decided to eat one of the ads in the face, and they all died. I did reset the boss, but of course some of them released, so we had to wait for them to run back, and things started to look a little bit dicey at this point. Luckily, we did kill the boss without problems on the second attempt. We didn't have any problems to the trash leading to the last boss. And on the last boss, it's pretty cool to be a paladin because you get to bubble and clean up all the tentacles at some point, which I think helped a lot. What didn't help though was the fact that we were at 99% trash. Definitely my fault. I need to do a little bit of a better job when I'm doing the routes and figuring out what to pull and what not to pull. But luckily we managed to kill the boss without any deaths, and we had plenty of time to run back and kill one more mob in order to complete the dungeon barely, but on time. We did get a shield from the chest at the end, which was not helpful because we did have a crafted one, so a piece that we're basically not going to use, and our key turned into a +9 city of threats. And we did spend some time in the LFG trying to look people to play in our key, but maybe it's our item level, maybe it's our radar IO rating, but nobody would queue up. So I ended up queuing for a +6 city of threats instead, just so that we're playing the game and we're getting some low level crests that we need to upgrade our gear, and that one went pretty damn good. I think with 3 chests that we only had 1 death in the entire run, so pretty uneventful, and I guess not that hard now that we have some items and some gear at our disposal. But then we got into another key, which is what you're seeing on your screens right now, a +7 Mists of Ternasite. And oh boy was that a key. Now I think I played pretty good in this key, but if you look on top left of your screens, you're gonna see the DK who is doing healer damage. Not tank damage, healer damage. Now, he was bad, and part of the problem was that he was not doing any mechanics and he was eating everything in the face, so those 16 deaths that you see were probably 90% were his fault. There was absolutely nothing right that he did the whole dungeon, including he got mind linked to me on the last boss and he kept running towards me instead of away from me until he eventually died. And because of all of this, obviously we did not time the key. We were about 2 minutes off, which, considering everything, I think was pretty damn good. And because we had absolutely no score in Mists of Tyrna's side, we still got about 250 Rider IO points, boosting our score up, and getting us up to 1850, which is pretty damn nice. Even more so, we actually got a necklace out of the chest. Now that was a pretty good upgrade for us, so we insta-equipped it, but the DK starts speaking in Portuguese, talking to us. And then he opens trade and tells us to give him the necklace. Now, mind you, even if I could trade it, I would never give him anything. And since he was talking to me in Portuguese, I might have said some pretty damn nasty things to him in Bulgarian. But yeah, that was an experience, boys. This is what happens in +7s, I guess. And moving on with life, we did queue up for another key instead of running our own. It was a +6 Arakara, and the reason for that was that we did have no score for Arakara at all, which means that this key would have probably got us to 2k IO rating. And it was a very smooth key. We had to one that overall all the way up until the last boss, but I guess this is what happens in Arakara. The last boss was a complete nightmare, people dying left and right, doing stupid things, getting sucked in from the drag, but we did have 3 battle reses, so I think we ended up losing 4 or 5 people overall during the fight, but with the battle reses we managed to get them back up. Very sketchy at the end because as we run out of battle reses, the priest managed to die as well, which was our healer, but at this point I'm pretty sure I could have soloed the boss alone even if I had to. But the rest of the DPS was alive, so we did manage to finish the key without too much problems, and we did miss the 2 chests, irrelevant though because we got another 250 points out of this, which got us way over the 2k IO rating point. And we got the token awarded for this achievement. Mind you, at this point we don't have a single piece of tier yet. We have a veteran helm, veteran shoulders, and champion pieces at the rest of the slots. So the token would be a huge hero track piece upgrade, but we would end up holding up on that until the vote and the end of the week, so we can figure out what is the easiest way to get 4-piece tier set bonus. That would be a topic for the next episode though, so feel free to check the description below for links to the full-length video recording of the stream if you wanna watch it at length. And make sure to stop by on Twitch, the legend behind the cow, if you wanna find out more about the giveaway that is still going on during this challenge, in which you can win 60 days of gameplay time for World of Warcraft. Thank you very much for watching, I'll see you in the next episode. Now get out of here.